All right, take 3. Thornton Cline, welcome to the Reiber Sessions. Thank you so much for joining us. We've completely worked out our technical difficulties at this point. We're warmed up, we're ready to go. You know what I mean? Everyone's laughing. We're having a good time. Let's skip all the pleasantries. We've done that already. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Talk about how you got your start in music.
And thank you for the honor to be on the show.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for coming back and helping us out.
Well, the process, you mean where I first started?
Yeah, where you first started.
I started when I was 5 years old playing the piano.
Yeah.
And I had some very patient teachers. I had a teacher
Same here.
that was a college student. And after I finished playing the piano in 5 lessons, she would take me out to the backyard and she would play with me in the swing. Pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Yeah. But then I started making up little tunes and ditties and things like that. And my mother, who I give credit for getting me started in piano, was worried about me, concerned that I wasn't sticking with the classical approach. You know,
right, like sheet reading, and
she thought I was wasting my time. And she's had some good talks with my teachers and said, you know, I don't know if he's really learning anything, or maybe she quit, or they didn't think it was a good idea to quit. They saw my talent in there, and so they just said that was part of the creative process of me making up little ditties and things.
Right.
All that. And then
it sounds like you played mostly by ear. Hear something and then try to. That's how I tried to play piano when I was young. I the theory and all that kind of stuff. It's important, but man, it lost me.
Yeah, me too. I didn't do too well in theory, you know, in college, but I did well in the other subjects. But my ear was still is really good, intact.
If you heard something today, do you think you could pick it up and you could play it? There's a piano in the next room over, by the way. You know that.
Okay, well, maybe we can move over to that.
The bench over there.
I also have what they call, I didn't learn this until I was in college, but I have perfect pitch, and not relative pitch, but perfect pitch. And
no way.
Yes, and there's not that many people you can do the research on it. It's like only a few people have it.
Charlie Puth has it, right?
Is that right? Charlie Puth? Okay. Well, what it is that I can identify a pitch, I can sing it back, I can also tell you the name of the pitch and so forth and all that. So the way I found it out was in college, we were doing what we call melodic dictation. Yeah. There's melodic dictation, harmonic dictation. So the professor would play these notes, these little exercises, and I was just furiously writing. This is such easy.
Right.
And everybody else is saying, man, you're crazy. This is tough. This is the hardest thing. Right. Because they would have to give them a pitch and say, this is a C, but now I'm going to play this note, and you have to count up the steps. And it was just so easy. I identified them right. Now, there's a blessing and a curse, because when I hear things on Spotify or iTunes or music I hear, it drives me nuts, because I can tell when people haven't used auto-tune when they're producing.
Oh. Yeah.
Auto-tune is very
keenly aware to very aware to everything.
But things are pitches, and I'll go to like a symphony concert. Like if I went to the New York Philharmonic or something, heard them perform a concert, that French horn is out of tune. It's like hitting the wrong, not the right notes, you know. Right. Yeah. So it would drive me crazy, and I'd be a real music critic from that end.
Yeah.
People have told me you can't enjoy a concert without. You know, being critical about it.
But that's part of it.
That's part of it.
You know.
But anyway, so I was going to be a music teacher and an orchestra director on that, and so I trained in that. I went to Eastman School of Music, which is the number one music school in the United States, and in Rochester, New York, and then came out of there and took some jobs teaching, but I was only fooling myself, because really deep in my heart, I kept having that calling to write songs. Yeah, I want to write songs so badly. Everybody knows that. People that have come here to Nashville know that.
For sure.
They can't. They have to.
It's an itch they have to scratch. Yeah,
that's correct.
Right,
and that's what I had. And so I went. I moved. I lived like in maybe 5 states, different states: New York, Virginia, Iowa, Illinois, all these different states. But I made my rounds all the way back to Nashville. So when I was doing orchestra directing, I would make visits to Nashville, which is really cool. So I tested the grounds, and I made my contacts, networking, which is really important. Right. And I kind of recommend that to people that want to come to Nashville, to kind of test the waters and come and visit for a couple of times before you actually make the move. Yeah. So I
did that. I visited. I had a couple friends that lived here before I got here, so that helped me because I just stayed with them. But I got to visit like 3 or 4 times before I moved here.
Well, they started taking, some of the people started taking interest in some of my songs that I pitched them, and these were simple.
During your visits?
During the visits, yeah. So I started getting single song contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Offers.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen too often. I thought, well, that's pretty good, So I did make the big leap and move here.
Yeah.
And lived on Music Row. I lived on 17th Avenue South. Yeah. Those old brick homes. I lived
not far from here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And had roommates, or whatever they call them, that were musicians. And one of the guys that was in there had his first hit with a artist, well-known artist, and he didn't realize you had to pay taxes to the IRS. So he got this big fat check from ASCAP.
Right.
And it was 6 figures.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot of money for the first check.
Right.
And he kept getting them, and then he realized, IRS starts knocking on his door and says, you owe us, some money.
Right, yeah, like a lot. Yeah.
Like maybe half of that.
Right.
The trouble is you spend it all.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
You gotta put half aside, man.
So he needs to write another hit.
Yeah, he needs to write more hits. Right, like you're putting it aside.
So that's what happened.
That's great.
So
that's musician math.
It is musician math.
Yeah,
so
that's.
When I ended up after.
We're not accountants.
Since '82 was when I moved. That's a long time ago. So it's old, but I had my first hit after moving here. It was in. Signed my first contract and it had a major hit, pop hit, in 1987, and that same song has been recorded 11 times. Still is being recorded. It's called "Love Is the Reason."
Love Is the Reason.
And the last time it was recorded was in 2017 by Rebecca Holden, who is a really well-known. You can look her up. She's an actress and artist, recording artist. She was on Curb Records here in Nashville.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah,
the circle, yeah.
And she recorded a duet with persons, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. If you look them up, they had a song called "Young Girl, Get Out of My Life." I don't know if you remember, but just look it up.
Okay, yeah.
You're much too young, girl. That's how the song goes. I don't know. You might have heard of it.
What was his name again?
Well, the guy's name is Gary Puckett.
Gary Puckett. Okay.
It's very famous. Very famous. Maybe the younger generation doesn't know, but you can always look it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've sort of had really good luck with duets.
Yeah.
So I kind of like writing duets and stuff. And so,
what is it about duets? Is it?
Well, duets kind of sound cool. I mean, they're very pretty.
For sure.
And you get 2 recording artists for the price for one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
it's really important. So,
for sure.
So that's how it happened. And then
is there something about the dynamic of writing them that intrigues you?
I think so. I like the way the intricacies of the male and the female voices. Yeah. Or it could be 2 male or 2 females, whatever.
Right.
Singing together.
Right.
And then from there on, it started taking off. It was really, really taking off. And I've had over 150 major and independent artists recorded my songs. Songs have been recorded. Yeah. I've written over 1,500 songs. Wow. My catalog of that is administered by Real Music Works here in Nashville, Berry Hill, and they have offices in Toronto and LA too. Yep. And they do I have a 4-year deal with them, and they try to get a lot of sync licensing and TV licensing.
That's good.
I'm happy to report, though, I have a new song that just been recorded, and it's going to be in a major box office movie. Isn't that cool?
No way.
Yes, it's screening red carpet event is in April.
How much info can you get?
I can tell you it's because I've signed the deal.
Okay.
Yeah. The name of the film is called Was Once a Hero.
Everyone's looking it up. Was Once a Hero?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll look it up.
Okay, and it's got major actors in it.
Yeah.
Actors and actresses.
Yeah.
And the name of my song is called Once a Hero, Always a Hero. Once a Hero, always a hero.
That sounds like
that sounds
like a near title track.
Well, the person that produced is very famous. The person that did the music score and the songs in it is Johnny Cash's son.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think people heard of Johnny.
Oh, absolutely. We know Johnny Cash very well. Yeah.
But anyway, so that's exciting because that's my first.
Wow. There once was. No,
it's just called Was Once a Hero.
Was Once a Hero. Okay. Was Once a Hero. Here, let me just put that in my thing real quick.
And it's very sad. It's a sad story. It's about a soldier that's been fighting, and he had PTSD. I guess is that. And he also has dementia, so that's why he was once a hero, because he's older now and he can't remember all the heroic things he did in his life as a war hero and stuff like that. It's a Western movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Western movie coming this spring. Wow, that's fascinating.
Well, the screening's coming. The screening is with the red carpet event, but the actual film will be released later this year, which is cool. So we'll keep you on that. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm just really excited about it.
That's pretty cool. Is that your first?
Well, I've had songs. I've had songs in TV movies, but not like ABC Lifetime movies, like Alfred Hitchcock movie called Notorious, and I had a song in there too.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty cool. That's right. Maybe talk a little bit about that for artists who don't understand how much money can be made in those sync licenses. It's really
it's actually become extremely competitive. But today, that's where you can really make your money as a songwriter. A lot more.
TV shows, movies, video games are huge.
Also, I just signed a deal with, which is exciting, a song that I wrote with a UK London writer artist. Her name is Talon David. And she and I wrote a song called Love at a Distance, and that's going to be in a rom-com TV series. That is to be announced, but we'll.
You need to buy your director's chair. You're in all these movies.
Well, actually, though, I'm told that's where you really can make a lot of money that way. Revenue. It's harder and harder for the songwriter to make money from radio airplay and recordings, because of course streaming has really killed us a lot. Really hurt us, but. As far as royalties, but a lot of artists write their own material too. Yeah. So it's really tough to get a song recorded by an artist in Nashville or in LA or wherever, but very, very tough. But
is that just because? Talk about why that is. Why
it is because everything has become self-contained, meaning that the publisher, songwriter, is a staff songwriter. All of them are working together with the artist, so they have it all. It's a closed circle. It's closed. And so I read the statistics. The research is that it's between 3 to 5%. That's the terrible odds for an outside writer like you and I. Let's say we don't know anybody in town. We come to town and we play a song for somebody. 3 to 5% of those songs get recorded.
Wow.
Can you believe that's?
It's incredibly low.
But the way you up your odds, though, is to write with the artist or an up-and-coming artist, which would be good. You got to recognize, wow, this person's really talented. This could be the next one, Taylor Swift, and this could be the next person. And you're going, well, I want to, write with them. So you write with them.
Here's one for you. If you, I used to live in New York, and when I did, the best piece of advice that I could give someone that wants to go out to New York and make something of themselves is to start your career in another city, build yourself up there first, and then go to New York when you already have the following. Is it similar in Nashville? If you're going to become a songwriter or something like that in Nashville, should you come here with the clothes on your back and start from square one, or should you try to build yourself up somewhere else and then come here already established?
Good question.
As a songwriter specifically.
I would say as a songwriter, come here.
Just come here and just start.
I would not instantly come here. I would make visits here and meet some people, set up a network first. And I'm doing that with some people, by the way. There's a couple of young artists that are doing that, and I'm encouraging them to come to town, and I'm helping them meet people. So you find somebody that can help you meet some people. So you start meeting people, and you build up a little network, which is really cool. So you're not just coming to make cold calls, but you're actually going to...
Right. That's cold call is challenging.
Very,
very challenging to, you know what I mean? to make connections like that, because you never know what's on the other end. You never know what type of mood you're going to catch the person that they're in if they do answer the phone. It's a tough business to be in.
Well, you know that, and I'm told about a lot of different artists that came here to start making it. Like I'm sure you heard that. Like Taylor, when she was first young, Taylor Swift, when she first came really young.
Yeah, really young.
She and her mom would go to just knock on doors. Cold calls. They're cold calls.
Yeah.
She got a lot of rejections, but look where she is now.
Not so bad.
No.
So I'm
just saying that's how she... I mean, it wasn't easy, like maybe they portray it in the media that was it, but she had a
they were
tough...
doing that, yeah. Much more challenging than the media makes it look. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't this...
That's no overnight success.
No, it wasn't...
They made people think like... Hey, you can just come here to town and...
It wasn't this cute, easy little rise to fame. It was very challenging, you know, and she talks about that too.
Yeah, well, there's 7... You heard it, this is a 7 to 10 year town, right? Have you heard that or not?
Yes, I think I know what you're talking about.
They say that it takes at least 7 years of hard busting it in this town, 7 to 10 years of work and before you start. And I see Lainey Wilson said she made it. She finally made it when she was 11th year or 12th year here.
Mm-hmm. You know what's fascinating? I have one of my good friends right now. Shout out Molly Johnson. She's putting out actually her first debut album later this month. Really excited for her. Yeah, if you want, I'll give you the details for the show. But she moved here about 5.5 to 6 years ago, right? And I think she moved here like 2017, 2018. So right about 6-ish years ago. If you say it's a 7 to 8 year town, she's putting out her first debut album now as a songwriter. She's going to start shopping it around this year. It took her 6.5 years to really get to that. Now, granted, COVID didn't help and things like that, and that pushed back her timeline. But it is about that long it takes, I guess. It
does.
And she's a talented songwriter. Don't get me wrong. She's probably one of my more talented friends when it comes to that.
I'll check her out. And with Taylor, back to Taylor, I believe she started playing the guitar and things at about 7. If I remember doing the research on her. Somewhere around that nature.
Right.
But she started coming to town pretty young, 10 maybe or something, 11, whatever.
That's crazy.
But she was busting doors.
That's crazy.
Pitching and it's.
That's how you got to do it. You have to get yourself in front of people. Let's talk about. So you've been in Nashville now for quite a few years. Very established. Talk about what your work is like now. Different, obviously, from when you first got here. You know what I mean? You're still networking, but it's a different kind of thing.
Well, I've learned a lot of things have changed. The models have changed. Of course, the times have changed.
Sure,
so you have to keep up with.
All that.
Yeah, I don't like to get stuck in old school. I like to learn.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few. Probably a lot of people, they get set in their ways, and I can't do this. I can't do computers. I can't do laptops and all these programs, apps.
Yeah.
But I'd like to learn. I continue to learn.
Yeah.
I don't stop learning.
That's great.
So no matter what age and stuff. So I've learned a couple things. First of all, since the odds of getting a recording are only 3 to 5%,
right?
I've gone with Sync TV. I do not do demos anymore. People talk about demos. I don't. I want to make sure maybe if the audience knows between a demo and a master. A demo is a very inexpensive thing. Maybe it could cost $300 to $500 or something like that. And you play with the guitar and sing vocal, or it might have. It just doesn't sound polished.
Right, yeah.
A master is something like you play on the radio or play on Spotify. You sell the artist itself. It's on an album. Yeah. That's a master.
Okay.
So I've started doing masters now. I don't do demos anymore.
No.
And masters, I try to discover new artists. I'm always on the lookout for new artists because I have a record label called Clientele Records Nashville. You can look it up, website and everything. Clientele Records, CLINETEL Records Nashville. You can look it up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have 8 artists on my label right now. It's exciting. One of them just went to #1 2 days ago on the world charts. His name is Chris Chitsey, C-H-I-T.
Oh, I think you were telling me about him when we
C-H-I-T-S-E-Y, and he's climbing up the charts on the Music Row. He's hit the where all the big time people are, the majors, like you name them, Lainey Wilson, all of them are on that chart. It's called the New Music Weekly Chart and the Music Row Chart, which are very respected.
Right, for sure.
He's number 48 this week. It's amazing. It's only been out songs on.
Congratulations to him.
Thank you. It's called Life is Hard.
Oh, you were telling me about
Life is Hard, Whiskey is Easy.
You were telling me about this when we were sitting down for lunch. That's right. Yes, absolutely. I remember.
And he has a video out and everything. It was filmed at the Jack Daniels distillery.
That's right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And he has limited bottles of whiskey. Only 25 were put out by Jack Daniels with his name on it, as well as the name of the
yeah, that's
song.
right. I meant to ask you where I could get one of those, by the way. Yeah, that'd be really rare.
But they probably will be collected, because he's rising up the charts. But it's so exciting to see So that's what I'm saying. Things have changed like that. Now I'm not only a songwriter, I still write songs.
Right.
But I write for purpose. That's the other thing. I don't just it's fun to write songs, and somebody will say, hey, would you like to write a song? Well, I'm not exclusive. I'll say, yeah, if you want to write a song with me, let's write a song.
Right.
But just bring me somebody, bring me a project, bring me an artist, bring me somebody that we can write for. I'm not just writing to put another song in my catalog. That's so
it's got to be with purpose now.
So write with purpose.
Yep.
Do masters, have my own label, have my own record label, have my own music publisher. Have 2 publishers. One, ASCAP is Clientele Music, and BMI is Thornton Cline Music. And then what else? I do radio promotion.
I want to talk about radio a little bit too, because you just got back from
it's really pretty exciting. Yeah. A lot of people will discount radio. They think, well,
that's what I want to get into.
Maybe the Gen Z people do, but maybe not.
Yeah.
I did an interesting panel at the NAMM show, and it was about radio promotion.
That's right.
So exciting
that's
about.
So you were just in
like
LA.
it's called radio's role in the ever changing, how radio's role is changing for the music industry music industry.
Right.
And we learned some research. We had a couple of Gen Zers there in the audience, and we asked them if they listen to radio. They do listen to radio. There are people that actually do listen. I'm not talking about online radio. They listen to radio. Maybe satellite. I don't know how they listen to it, but
still in the car.
But I was so shocked to find out the statistics that in the United States, 283 million people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
listen to radio 12 hours a week. 12 hours a week.
12 hours a week is a lot. That's commuting in your cars.
So that's probably where they get it. But they also call them smart speakers. What
that's right. Yeah,
smart speakers.
Amazon Alexa and all those.
They account for the
Google Pod. Yeah.
And so I found out that 56% of Gen Z generation actually listen to the radio.
Yeah,
which is shocking to me because I thought, well, wow, you've got all these things. You've got Spotify, you've got iTunes, you've got every kind of thing that you can listen to. You got Tidal, you got
podcasts, all this stuff. Right.
You don't have to listen to radio, right?
But no. It's interesting. I had not listened to the radio in a very long time before you and I were talking about this a few weeks ago, and I actually put the radio on in my car a few weeks ago. I just, why not? I have Sirius XM. I tried that, and I tried the AM FM, and it kind of reminded me of driving to high school and stuff like that. Like my carpool would listen to the radio every morning.
Well, let's put it in perspective. I said 283 million people listen. Okay.
Right.
Put it in perspective. 180 million people use Facebook regularly. So look at that perspective.
Yeah.
And 160 million. This is I'm talking about in the United States, not in the world.
Right.
There's more people.
Monthly users, right?
More people that use Instagram and Facebook worldwide.
Right.
But in the United States, Instagram is used by 160 million users. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And put that in perspective to 283. So more people listen to radio in the United States.
It's true, and I think we should say though, however, radio numbers are slowly declining, right?
They are.
They are going down.
Since 2009.
Right.
Since 2009, it's declined by about 5%.
Right.
But that's not a huge.
No, it's not.
But if you keep it in perspective over the years and years, I guess radio could eventually be not there anymore. Just like mainstream, what do they call that? Mainstream television too. Like network television. That may not be in existence.
That's true. It might not be. I still find myself logging into my cable profile on these streaming services. But do you think that radio, kind of like how vinyl's coming back? Do you think radio might be one of those things that makes a comeback? Like in my garage at home, my grandparents, they used to have this huge radio that was the size of a huge chest, and that was the radio for the house.
Now you got digital radio. You got
digital radio, but I have friends that are refurbishing these old huge radios that are they look like dressers. They look like dressers.
Well,
and they're beautiful too.
Everybody's heard, right? History repeats itself, right? Everybody hears
right.
That, right? So I would say it's very possible. I mean, what does it say? What goes around comes around, and what comes around goes around. Whatever, right? So it's very possible. Have you seen some? I mean, I'm sure we've always seen examples of things that repeat. Like, for instance, we see where Blockbuster and Hollywood Video all went out of business because now, and even Redbox. I don't know if they do a lot of videos now, but
they're in the grocery stores.
But
at the checkout
not really that. I mean, you can get it right on digital. I mean, you can get it all streaming. Streaming is really. So the next question is, well, what's past streaming? What happens after streaming? See, because everything's moving so fast, technology.
I know. Can't even tell you what's after streaming. It seems like the answer. It seems like the solution.
Right now it does,
but then, who knows? They're gonna figure something out.
The future,
right? The future, yeah. It's making my head spin. It's crazy how you can still buy songs on iTunes though.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still buy.
Well,
songs
you mean
on
like
iTunes.
99 cents or $1?
Yeah, $1.29. Sometimes I still do that. Sometimes if it's an artist I really love, I'll buy the song off iTunes. Sometimes I'll still do that. I don't think iTunes is gonna make a comeback like vinyl and all this other thing. That's probably not gonna.
You mean
happen.
like Apple and iTunes?
Yeah, I don't think iTunes is gonna come back like that. There's just no way. It's not. It doesn't have the feel to it. You know what I mean? I think that's what people like.
Well, did you know do you know what the highest paying for songwriters streaming service is? It's not Spotify.
It's Tidal.
Tidal. Exactly.
Right.
You got it. Right.
Tidal. Yeah. I
Tidal is the one that is the fairest to songwriters.
Right, but it's also it sucks because Tidal is like the smallest streaming service, and
but it doesn't mean it'll always be. It could.
That's true. It doesn't mean it always. Like I think that's owned by artists, right? I think Jay-Z and a bunch of other guys have their hands in that, which is good. Apple pays the artist a little bit better than Spotify does. Spotify's the worst one notoriously. Yeah, that's pretty low.
Now here's something that's got people shaking. I'll just tell you about the songwriters and artists.
Yeah.
I don't know you've seen where BMI has been sold.
I don't think so.
BMI is not. It's still called BMI, but it's bought by Mountain Capital.
Oh, okay.
It's a private organization.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's got some of the songwriters worried about is will they change the rules? They claim they won't. But the interesting part is we were just having a discussion with a songwriter yesterday, some songwriters, and they said they read that BMI collects will keep 15% of the royalties, administrative fees, and pay out 85%, whereas ASCAP keeps only 10% and pays 90%. So it's a 5% difference.
Interesting. Okay.
On payout.
Yeah.
Right now, but it could change.
Then that could
but
be.
But
5%
could be a lot if you make
can be a big difference.
If you make six figures or more, it could be a lot of.
Right. If you're making a lot of money, then you know what I mean. That's a lot. There's definitely a couple things that I want to talk about before we kind of wrap up. And the first one is, and you told the story last time, but you need to tell the Chinese Mafia story.
Oh, right. Well, in 2019, just pre-COVID, just a little before COVID happened, I was invited, real honor, with 11 people here from Nashville and 2 city council members, as well as the mayor was supposed to go, and these were all business people, entrepreneurs, and CEOs, and lawyers, and everything like that in the music business, because we were developing a relationship between Chengdu. It's called Chengdu. It's in Western China, and Nashville. Chengdu is much bigger. It's 17 million population. Here it's what, we got 2 million or and a half.
1.9 or something.
What they're trying to do, they wanted to do sister cities, which we own now, sister cities. With Chengdu, Nashville. But they were starting a thing like another music row. In China.
That's cool.
They went to Milo. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I was invited, and I went to it, and met a lot of people. And
how did you get that invite?
I'm not trying to figure that out. Guess I know somebody.
That's right.
But I got invited. And so I was real proud and honored to represent the Music City, because you know how famous Music City is, Nashville. It's known all over the world. I mean, I didn't realize what clout it has. I mean, New York does too.
Either,
But you say, I'm from Nashville. They go, Nashville? Oh, that's like just...
Interesting. Okay, cool.
And so then we went there, and we went to this nightclub out in the boonies somewhere out.
The boonies in China.
China. The boondocks. And we went there, and we were playing, and it's these dirt floors. And it's really rough, man. And the thing they like about it, I'm not trying to be offensive or anything to anybody, but they use reverb a lot. When they sing, they turn up the reverb, so it's real echoey. And I realized that why they do that now is because you can make anybody sound great.
So that's funny. Basically, you're saying I need that.
It's kind of like auto-tune.
Right. Kind of like, the poor man's auto-tune.
And so they had this, what their version of country music is. And it was different than that.
Right.
But anybody, they were eating these, they save everything. They don't waste anything. And so they were eating these ribs, and I thought these were good, and I started reading them, and you're expected to eat the bone and everything.
That's good. Well, you had an experience.
Oh no, I did. Really did. And people were drinking and all that. So and then they all said, "Well, man, look, it's almost 10 o'clock. We got to split. We got to get out of here." So we all got into Bentleys, you know. Chauffeured around and headed out of there. They said because the Chinese Mafia gets here. The Mafia gets here at 10. It's underground, and who knows what's going to happen.
You don't want to be there when they. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I don't know if the government. I'm sure the government knows about it, but.
Sure, yeah. You know.
But it's real underground, so you're wondering what kind of stuff goes on. Like, what do they do? Like after.
I'd love to find out. You know what I mean? See, that's the thing. I'd probably stay behind. I'd be like, all right, you guys go ahead.
I want to check this out.
Right. I'm gonna introduce myself.
So I've never heard of the Chinese mob.
Neither have I.
The Asian mob or whatever it is, but it's
right.
Well, it's kind of like the Mafia in New York, New Jersey.
Well, yeah, I've never met any of those guys, so I can't speak to it. But those mob movies and those mafia movies are also great. So
Yeah.
I think part of the intrigue there for me. I'd love to, if there was a Chinese mafia opportunity, tell you, I would take it.
Well, there's probably a lot of stuff like racketeering and all kinds of
underground. But just to you know what I mean? Take the train with those guys, something by accident. While we're kind of wrapping up here, I want to know your advice to songwriters that are trying to build themselves up, that are trying to get started and make their way over here to Nashville. What's your advice?
Okay, my advice would be to network. It's very important. I learned that. I missed that opportunity when I first came to Nashville. I didn't network enough. I regret that. But now I'm making up for a lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meeting people. Because people are eager to meet you and go to every kind of conference you can go to. All
right.
kinds
I was
of
going to
things.
say, what are some
like
networking
workshops?
pieces of
Workshops
advice?
are really
workshops.
important. Everything you can get your hands on to learn
Songwriters
about.
nights. Yeah.
Everything.
Just be in the room, right?
Be in the room and write. Don't make excuses. Everybody can make excuses. Well, I didn't have time. I'm too tired. I can't do this and that.
Right.
Just write. Because the way you're going to learn is to get better is to write and improve.
Yeah.
Co-write is so important.
Yeah, and that's a great way to build relationships.
Don't you think so? Because you get immediate feedback from the co-writer.
Right.
And I learned so much. I learned more that way. Street, what they call street education or whatever. Than doing it workshops and everything like that. So that's what my best advice would be. So the more contacts you make, you're going to use those contacts later to develop. And don't look at it as competitive. Look at it as teamwork because you're working together as teamwork. Because everybody wins in a team together. It's collaborative.
Yeah.
Instead of cutthroat and stabbing people in the back. And
the music industry is already too cutthroat.
It really is.
We need to collaborate more. I agree. Well, listen, Thornton, thank you so much for joining us.
We collaborated today.
We collaborated today. Yeah, hopefully we collaborate more. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for your staff.
I couldn't do it without them, honestly. This was a lot of fun. And until next time, right? Absolutely. Thank you.